welcome to City Pop Stories. I'm Nick Luscombe. We're in Shibuya. Today I'm going to be speaking to Nanako Sato, who made a string of amazing records in the 70s. We're going to be talking about those records. Also going to be talking about how she developed that really unique kind of whispery pop jazz voice that she had as well, which is really wonderful, and it's inspired so many different artists since then. We started off by asking, how did it all start? So I guess the first thing to ask is, where did you grow up? What was your childhood like?
Okay, so I was born in Tokyo, Nakano. When I was little, I loved dancing, dancing classical ballet. And when I saw amazing ballerina called Maya Plisetkaya, and she did amazing Dying Swan. And so when I was little, I was taken to see her Dying Swan, and I thought, this lady must be real swan. She was amazing, really, the moment how she died. So I was fascinated with dancing. So I wanted to be a classic ballerina.
I see, really?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I know that you went into being a gymnast for a while as well, right?
Yeah,
So,
that was not my wish. Rather, my aunt, she went to the Olympic game in Melbourne. That's a long time ago. But unfortunately, she got Achilles, so she couldn't be on the game. So she put her dream on me. So I had to, I was meant to go to Olympic Games. So I was trained very hard to be quite serious gymnast.
yeah.
But I preferred dancing ballet.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And was that an introduction to music as well? So because of the ballet, did you kind of like classical music?
Oh yes, I love this classic music for ballet.
Yeah.
And also when we do practice, we have certain music for movement. So I loved all this music without knowing really who was the composer or who was the orchestra. But I just love all this music. Yeah.
And then you went to university, to Keio University.
Right.
And then is that where you started getting kind of serious about your own music, like singing?
Yes, it is. But this I had to tell you, first of all, I did classic ballet, and then I had to give up the classic ballet because I was meant to be a gymnast. But the thing was, when I was high school, when I practiced parallel bar, I fell down. So I hit my head, and just a few days I lost the memories, and I stopped doing this anymore. And then I have nothing to do, so I thought maybe, nice to go to university and to be a secretary or so. So I went to this university.
Right, so you went to Keio.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
But at that time I have nothing to do with music, not yet.
So how did you then get into music?
Yeah, so first of all I joined the tennis club, and then I joined the music club. So that was kind of circle in the university. But my circle was not a big one or established one. It's more like go to short trip with musicians and playing music at somebody's house.
Yeah.
But I was only the girl there. And then once in my university, some circle organized a big contest of female singers. like a female singer-songwriters from many universities, and it was quite a serious contest. And first of all, like first, how do you say, we send music, and they picked up, and then we had to do live performance in front of some people, and then they picked up, and then final contest at big hall, and with many audience. So I was picked up as the best lyrics.
Right.
And at this contest, many record company people are to look for some talented female singer-songwriters. So many record companies people asked me, would you like to be a singer? So, but I had no intention for that, and so I said no, thank you. But somebody, the fantastic director, a producer in Columbia record, he was so much keen on my music and my singing. So he said, let's become a singer. And he's been telling me nearly half a year. So, okay, let's make the album. That was the beginning. But before really become singer again, before the contest, I met this my boyfriend at the time is called Motoharu Sano, you know. Yeah. So he is the one really taught me how to write the lyrics for song, and he was the one showed me many different kind of music at the time. Like for instance, he wrote all the album he has of Bob Dylan, and he explained me all the lyrics.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
This is the meaning, and this is what he wants to say, and he even drew the picture of the songs.
Really?
Yeah.
So you just soaked that all in, and then that helps you to write your own songs. Is that
Yeah.
right?
So we started exchanging lyrics, and okay, I like this song lyrics very much. Let's make a song. So he played the guitar, and so I just hear the melody and I sang with my lyrics. That is the way how I started making music. Yeah.
Yes.
And then the contest I told you, it was after that. Yeah.
Okay.
When I was third grade of universities.
So you were how old? You were like 20.
I think 20 years old or
Right.
something.
Okay. So you had a record deal when you were that age,
Yeah.
and then you kind of went into the studio straight away and then started working on your songs.
We had already some songs, and
Yeah.
we made a lot more for recording, but very quick. Yeah.
Really, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The result is this, the first album,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So can you tell me about this? And because what's amazing is you sound super confident already.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm always amazed that you were so young, but just sound like you really know exactly how you want to portray yourself as a singer.
No, not at all. Actually, I had no, how do you say, training of music academically. So I still, even now, I can't read a score, and just I sang at that time
Right.
without, not particularly having confidence. It's very just natural stuff.
So just from the heart, and you just sang, and
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
How was
Do
this?
I sing so confident?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. For like a debut album, there's just no doubt. And your style, which developed over your records and over your career,
Oh,
has always seemed to be just starting from a very, very strong place.
oh,
So that kind of proves there's a natural ability, right? Natural talent.
Thank you so much.
No, it's wonderful. And what were the sessions like? I mean, because you were quite young, being in a studio with the musicians on this, how did that feel?
So first of all, this before recording, I had to join this my kind of agency who takes care of me, and I was so lucky. I met this wonderful musician called Chu Kosaka, and he and his wife run this agency, and they are my agent. So they taught me a lot about to be a professional singer and how the recording would be, and they really taught me those things. So, and also between record company, I have no idea about this professional terms about recording, so they helped me a lot, and also Motoharu Sano also. And so this album, Funny Walking, about the recording itself was amazing. Everything was so much first time, this great experience for me. So everything was so fresh. And I was totally amazed with everything, and especially this first meeting with music arranger called Yuji Ohno. So he's the amazing composer and the jazz pianist. Do you know Lupin?
Sure,
right? So he made that cool music. So he has amazing, gorgeous talent for this amazing orchestration. So I was so lucky I could work with him for my first album. So he picked up great musicians who played for this. So these are like one-day session in the huge studio of Columbia Record. At the time, this Columbia Record has a company and a studio in Akasaka, on the kind of near the top of the hill, which is a very hilly place. I couldn't sing this 16-beat rocks, and that is the first song of this album called Subterranean Futari. And so this was 16-beat, and I didn't have any idea to sing this fast beat. So Chu Kosaka next to me, and he did like this, and so Nanako sing like this. So that time I was very nervous.
Everything else was okay.
I think maybe I'm kind of out of tune though.
Oh really, do you think? I don't know.
Some part, but I think that was cute.
It's very cute, and it's, like I said, very confident. And it feels also like there are so many ideas in the record, that it feels like maybe all these ideas were just inside you, just desperate to come out, Because everything's changing all the time, isn't it, with every track?
You think so? Maybe like actress, perhaps.
Maybe, Or just it feels like a very, like a generous spirit in terms of, you with the musicians. Everybody's just trying to make it even better every time. It feels like that's something that runs through all your records, that they're real journeys, aren't they? And so much variety of music. Is that something that is exciting for you, that that you don't just kind of write the same song, you write lots of various different...
because we have so many stories in the world, so you can pick up anything, you can be anything, so it was fun to enjoy this, and still now.
Cool, all right. So I'd like to speak about the next album, but what inspired your style of singing? How did you, because you've got a very unique style, so what did you do to create that style?
I didn't do anything to create my style, just as I was. Yeah, really.
Just natural.
Yeah, it means style like my way of singing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Basically, I can't really sing in a way. Like at the time or now also, many singers, they're trained, they have a lesson for singing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I didn't get anything like that, so I just sang by my way, that's all.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
What's amazing is, you released this album in 1977, and then in the same year, you released this.
At that time, actually, many, I think many artists are same. Like at least, record company, the one I was with, Columbia Record, like 2 albums in a year we made. So that was very fast. Yeah.
Wow. And so did you record them in the same session, or were these albums recorded in separate sessions?
Separate.
Really?
So first one was Yuji Ohno, and this one is with Shoji Yakuchi.
Okay.
He's a jazz musician. Yeah.
And so you worked with different musicians on this record as well?
Yeah, different.
So that must have been so intense a period for you. Did it feel like really stressful at that time? Or
No, because totally I was relaxed because they played so fantastic. And so I rather respect them, and I appreciated it so much to have a great chance to play with them. So I was so happy.
And when you played live, what kind of places did you play? Jazz clubs when this album came out?
No, not really jazz club. I think more like a live house. We call venues more for rock music, folk music, that kind of places. Really? Yeah. And sometimes I played at the bigger hall. Yeah, but not so often. Often with smaller places, smaller venues. Yeah.
And what was the audience like? Was it people your age, or was it kind of varied? Yeah.
Kind of my age.
Yeah. It's a young 20-something.
Yes.
And what was it like, for you? What kind of things were you doing day to day? So you're in the studio, you're singing, playing gigs.
Yeah.
Did you have time to have a life outside of that, or were you just working all the time?
You see, I didn't think this is my work or working, because everything was so much fun. So I enjoyed so much. So I didn't go as my work. I rather as when you create something like a painting or taking picture, that is, if you really love this, at the first time you don't call it as my work or job, right? So that kind of feeling I had. Yeah.
And did you have time to listen to other music as well?
Oh yes,
you did?
All the time, because I didn't know any other music. I was not too particularly keen on listening to somebody's music when I was little. And everything started at when I met Motoharu Sano, right?
Yeah.
So I listened to many music, almost like a big flood came to me. Yeah.
Amazing. So would you listen to kind of jazz and rock and folk music? Was it just a mix of
anything I loved at that time? Somebody told me maybe you love this Maureen Mulder, or Blossom Dearly, and also Johnny Mitchell and Bob Dylan, of course, and all these cool James Taylor and all these things. people, and Motos introduced me all these things.
And what was the atmosphere like in Tokyo at that time? Because this is the beginning of like a really big boom, isn't it? For people probably had more money and things. Did it feel like a really exciting city to be in?
I mean, we are like, how to say, happily heading to economically going higher.
Yeah, sure.
So people worked hard, but also same time we had a kind of feeling of hope. You see, so all the society or world, we had a more hope or happy feeling. So we could enjoy things. So it's very different from now, I think.
It's maybe such an incredible time to be making music and just living your life in Japan. So we're going to jump to 1978 now. So I'm still amazed at how many records you brought out in such a short amount of time.
2 in a year.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So this is, I mean, different again. I mean, in terms of the images. I mean, I'm quite interested in how the images change. As now you're a photographer. Were you involved in the kind of?
No. At the time, I had no interest in photography yet.
Okay.
That was much later. So at the time, I even didn't know how I was taking picture. So I had no idea how the result would be. So like, may I see the first one?
Sure,
Second one, I'd like to explain you.
Yeah.
So this was taken by somebody different photographer than the rest of the album. These 3 same photographer called Arao Yokogi, one of the most wonderful photographers in here, who are good at taking picture of girls, like a nude picture also. And so these are different photographers.
I see,
And since my voice, people thought like this first album's copy was as if, how do you say, Marilyn Monroe. People thought my vocal. And so kind of sexy voice and sensual feeling. People thought, I think. That's why record companies, people trying to get the image of kind of sexy feeling rather than this heading.
Right, I understand.
This,
For sure, and that's probably continued with, with this as well.
And so this but third album called Pillow Talk. This is a live album.
All of it is live, isn't it? Yeah, it's amazing because it's just so well produced and just so perfect.
This is produced by Chu Kosaka.
Right.
Yes.
And what was it like? What were the recordings like when you were doing this? How did it feel different compared to the previous 2 albums?
Because of this was a live show recorded at the kind of bigger hall.
Right.
And then with these tracks, we put on a little bit more or something. I think I did.
Some overdubs,
At that time, I think I started doing music with Moon Riders. So about this album is, this is a live album. The gig I had at some kind of bigger hall, and so that is a basic track, most of them. And somewhere we added something on top or something we did. And at this time around, I met the Moon Riders. So one of this album, the song is of them, called Secretly Feeling Lonely. That's why I love this song very much.
There's also some really nice sort of tropical
Oh, yeah.
vibes on this, isn't there?
Yes, yes. These are also like I think influence of another great musician called Kazuhiko Kato.
Right, okay.
At the time also I met him and he gave me lots of inspiration. Yeah.
That inspired that kind of feeling for the record.
Yeah. And also at that time I think generally lots of musicians very much influenced with West Coast music and kind of soothing soft and that type of music like Michael Franks or Ned Doheny, all this touch of tropical as well.
That's interesting you mentioned Michael Franks, because I was going to ask you if that was an artist that you listened to at that time.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I liked him very much.
Yeah. Because to me you share a very similar kind of sense of humor.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it feels like, you, because he sings about like maybe New York experiences in the 70s.
Yeah.
About, falling in love, falling out of love, buying a sandwich, whatever. And, I feel the similar kind of atmosphere with your music.
Oh, I see. I think maybe the way he tells the story visualized very much.
Yeah.
So maybe that's kind of a similarity in my song.
Right, yeah.
No?
I think so, right?
Yeah.
So do you kind of see the songs as being kind of moments in time, quite cinematic?
Yeah. I think I have this kind of personality or character or talent to visualize things I feel. Yeah. That's why I became a photographer later, perhaps.
Right, yeah. That's interesting. So it all connects through your music, yes. Nanako Sato's fourth album, Kissing Fish from 1979. A really great record, lots of styles, lots of twists and turns. Jazz, pop, back to jazz, and even a little bit of new wave.
We had a certain intention regarding this album.
Yeah.
I think we decided to ask some few artists to write songs, and lyrics are all mine, but different type of music like Akiko Yano and also Moonriders and also Kazuhiko Kato and all these people. So, and maybe that's why many more varieties. And this arranged by Akira Inoue, very talented musician and keyboard player here.
Yeah, and what are your memories of recording this album? Is there anything particularly that stands out?
Yeah, I was so happy to work with these interesting and great songwriters, and many memories about this album. And I was maybe, for instance, one track made by Akiko Yano. You see, her style is very much goes up and down, so like a jet coaster. So she actually made a track like that. So for me to sing such a kind of melody was the first time, and I enjoyed it so much. So this, again, different musicians gave me lots of experience on this album. And also Kazuhiko Kato, he made two or three tracks, and these amazing songs is very much cinematic, and I enjoyed being like an actress. And one more thing, very much of this memory I have was this album cover. See, was shot in Guam Island.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yes, and the first thing was I was told by record company, we go to Guam Island to take picture of this cover. So I say okay, and I was quite happy going there. But actually, was tied up with Playboy magazine.
Was it?
Yes, so I had to be like this, like a very sexy kind of pictures, and I was very amazed. I didn't know what kind of picture would come out, but when I see all this contact heat or positive, I was so shocked. Oh, it's not me. So, but now everything is great experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Actually, I was not naked.
How did you first meet the Moonriders?
So, first time I heard their music was the oldest rock cafe in Japan called BYZ, still exists, which is in Shibuya. It's a cool place, and I heard this Moonriders album, and I was so fascinated. I straight away went to the record store to get their vinyl, and that was first time. And when I became singer, I don't know when, but at some point I had a job to do some vocal for TV commercial. Yeah, and it was of this something I don't was think lingerie or something, and Moonriders was there. They played this song. It's a traditional song called Cho 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 Cho. That is butterfly, butterfly, and but they arranged very rock style. So I sang that song very rock style, but in a sweet way. And that is the first moment I really played with them. Yeah, and I loved their music so much. Yeah.
And then you played a whole performance with them?
Yes, yeah. I mean I did it at some venues, and I played with their big show, and I played. I did like a chorus for them, and I started writing for them lyrics. Many songs I gave lyrics. Yeah.
And then recently, Nippon Columbia released the Radio Moon and Roses album.
Yeah.
So that album was quite lucky
from that time.
Yeah.
Was in 1979. Yes. And this was quite amazing record how it was released, because you see, so I tell the story. So I was given some white CDR by my friend after my gig, and it was white, so it didn't have any note. But he said, please hear this one. I brought back home, I put on the table and sit for 1 or 2 years. And when I started, as you say, organize my own music, I had this white CDR, and I discovered this amazing song. And basically, this my friend who recorded this radio show, he gave this white CD and it passed to me. And so this person originally recorded this radio program, like a air check he did on cassette tape.
I see.
So this album released recently of 1979, originally recorded in cassette because no more original really master. So even radio station they don't have this.
Yeah.
But luckily this cassette tape has such a great quality of charming sound.
Yeah. Sounds amazing.
Yes, so when I first heard this white CDR, I was amazed at this like a treasure box I opened,
Yeah.
which slept for a long time under the ocean.
Yeah.
Ocean.
Yeah.
How wonderful, how charming this sound. Yeah, so I immediately called my friend of this Moon Riders and manager of Moon Riders, and so everybody was excited.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you'd sort of, I don't know, how can you explain it? You said it was like a treasure, but hearing that session again, did you feel like, wow, that's a long time in between?
Yeah.
But you were right back performing again and singing.
Actually, like too long time, and I forgot. We all forgot at the beginning. Yes, we did, but where it was, when it was, so everything slowly came back. And
Amazing.
I had this memory. We recorded this radio live session in a kind of big studio, and I had this image, and it was quite correct, and it was the big studio radio station owned by, and that was in Shinjuku, and huge place. Yeah.
Amazing. And now it's available. People can listen to it, stream it, buy it again. Which is incredible, isn't it? And so after that, I mean, there's a few things that I was really interested in. You worked with Pizzicato 5. You wrote the Twiggy Twiggy song, right?
Yes.
Which I only recently realised.
Oh, really?
I love that song. So
Yeah,
you wrote that? Amazing.
Yes. At the time, this producer of Makinomiya, she was a solo singer, not yet joined to Pizzicato 5. And for her solo album, this producer asked me to write song. But as maybe you noticed now, I can't write like a score or anything. So how I made this one was Keiichi Suzuki of Moon Riders was here. So I sang with the lyrics I wrote, and I sang, and he tried to get the chord, and he played, "It is okay." Yes, and I said, not this chord, and so I just sang. That is the way how I made this track for Makinomi. And when she joined to the Pizzicato 5, they covered it again. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's so cool. How do you feel now that your music is being rediscovered through the reissues and through YouTube? How do you feel that there are now millions of people around the world really enjoying your music again? How does that make you feel?
I'm so happy. I really feel appreciated. Yes, I am. And it is wonderful, like all these people, young people, hear this music as something so fresh.
Do you lots of people ask me this question, which is like, why do so many young people love your music, and why do you think today it still sounds great to like a young audience?
Yeah, because I think this music we produced at the most, richest time of rich music, richness of the music itself, and the richness of how we record. It's with great studio great microphone and great musicians. Everything is so richer than now. Now everyone does in tiny studio or digital, but it is actual real play with a real bigger tape. No digital sound.
Sure. Yeah.
So like a 1-inch tape, always like a, in the studio. No editing afterwards. So it's so different, and people would feel this feeling. This maybe the word richness is not correct. You think?
I think it's a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
But I think also the interesting thing is, you're very humble because you're the person who's writing the songs, but that's not. Where does that come from? So you're making a direct connection to people a long time after these records came out. So that's even bigger than a good quality studio. That's your soul is coming across to people. So what do you think is it that has lasted for so long that people still love to hear your records and hear your personality?
First of all, maybe people love my voice, perhaps.
Yeah.
And also this wonderful arrangement of sound and this very tasty sound, and also it's well recorded, and also I think this variety of my songs has a kind of storytelling images, as if you're looking at the movie at the same time. So my songs are more like make you into some stories, telling you some stories, and so maybe that is a kind of charming point of this my album, and all these young people now discovering this charming music that I really appreciate. And also more than that, also charming atmosphere, happy atmosphere of the time, like when my album was made. So all this good feeling is in this album, I think. And also the one I made with Moon Riders was also same time.
Yeah.
And so we all just got a wonderful kind of happiness in the music.
So you work as a photographer,
Yes.
right? So was that something that you wanted to do for a while, or how did you encourage?
After this album, I made like a new wave. We call it new wave. It's kind of soft, punkish music, and I made a band called Spy, and it was very much influenced by Moon Riders because I love them so much. Oh, I like to make my own band, so I tried this one. And after this, I stopped singing, and when my mom passed away, we got her portrait, which was taken by a wonderful professional photographer, and she's always smiling there. So I looked at these pictures all the time. So how nice this photography must be interesting, and taking picture will be wonderful. So at that time, my friend said, press the button and you get picture. Press the button and you get picture. That sounds easy, so maybe I can do. So that is the way how I started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And soon after that, people you see, that time was economically very high. It's before the bubble stuff, and so people could do anything. Like people in advertisement, they thought maybe, oh, Nanako, the singer, became photographer. What kind of pictures she does? So just curiosity they had, and they asked me to photograph this and that. That is a way how I started being a professional. And yeah.
Yeah, and it's something you carry on doing today. You're still doing photography and enjoying it.
And yes, and to be a photographer is so also interesting. So I feel lucky to meet great people again with music also. But like photography, for instance, I could meet great singers like Bjork and Joni Mitchell and PJ Harvey and all these people I can photograph. When I look at them through the camera, I capture them, and also same time I speak with them, talk with them. So I was very honored to photograph those great musicians, singers. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And what is your kind of, what things inspire you most today? So you've done a lot of different things.
Yeah.
What are the things that really inspire you?
Now, you see, I was very, very touched by Joni Mitchell the other day. You seen, she appeared to the audience after her long time treatment of sickness, and she was so brave and so beautiful, and just little bit she started singing. It's one word on one word. Her voice was just taking breath away. It was a gift, and this how to say, make people so open our heart and touching to our heart, and that is the real singing I felt. So I think lately her appearance was so much influencing me.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for taking time to speak to us today.
Thank you so much.
It's amazing.
I was happy to meet you, and it was so nice to talk with you. And thank you so much. You introduced my music to people again.
Well, thank you for making it in the first place.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Well, a huge thanks to Nanako Sato for taking time to speak to me. As you can tell, what a lovely person, and so humble and so generous with her time, and really, really keen to answer the questions in a really honest way as well, I thought. I don't think she even recognises just how much she's adored by music fans from across the world. What a brilliant thing to meet her. So thanks to Nanako Sato. Thanks again to you for watching, and do check out her albums as well. They're all available digitally, and they've all been reissued. They're all out there again as well. So thanks again, and join me again for more City Pop Stories next time. If you like this video, then check the others on your screen now for more City Pop Stories. If you feel like supporting the channel, then like and subscribe.